prefrontal cortex, amygdala, and hippocampus. Okay, yeah. So during meditation, the three areas, prefrontal cortex, amygdala, hippocampus, the activity in this area will be significantly reduced. Okay, yeah. Another group of researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital used electrode applied at the forearm of volunteer to deliver focused electric shock at random intervals. Compared with people who had never meditated, experienced meditators were able to reduce their anxiety by 29% as they were awaiting the painful stimulus. So while they are waiting for painful stimulus, yeah, they can control, they can reduce their anxiety about 29%. Okay. While they did touch, activity in the anterior cingulate cortex increased. When the pain arrived, they were able to use mindfulness meditation to reduce their unpleasantness by 22% compared with the control. So the patient with meditation, particularly a lot of meditation experience, so they were able to use mindfulness meditation to reduce the unpleasantness of pain about 22% as compared with the control. They show decreased activity in the prefrontal cortex and increased activation in the insula and secondary somatosensory cortex, where data from receptors all over the body for stimuli such as pressure, pain, and warmth are processed. From this change in the brain, we can speculate that there are two components of mindful meditation. One component we call focus attention, and the other component we call open monitoring. So there are two kinds. One is focus attention, another one is open monitoring. Let us go to the first one. Now, focus attention. Like we do breathing meditation. First, have to create a sense of calmness, relaxing the muscle and decreasing anxiety, which will lessen the pain when it comes. Activation of the anterior cingulate cortex increase the control of focusing and holding attention. So this area anterior cingulate cortex, is usually related to attention and pain control. And then we come to the second one is we call open monitoring. Open monitoring is involved turning into the sensory experience of pain, increased activation of the insula and somatosensory cortex, but with a completely non-judgmental, accepting attitude, decreased prefrontal cortex activation. That is what we call the open monitoring. So we can see the pain, okay, and we can accept it, but we accept it with a non-judgmental attitude, non-judgmental and accepting attitude, okay, yeah. Increased activity in the orbital cortex, dealing with emotional regulation and decision making of meditator is associated with decreased unpleasantness of pain, decreased unpleasantness of pain, while increased activity in the insular and anterior cingulate cortex associated with decreased pain intensity. So the first one, okay, is increased activity in the orbital cortex leads to decreased unpleasantness, unpleasantness of pain. But increased activity in the insular and anterior cingulate cortex is associated with decreased pain intensity. Now we come to another kinds of neurotransmitter, and endorphin. Endorphin is a kind of neurotransmitter. Endorphin are opioid peptides secreted in the brain that have a pain relieving effect similar to that of morphine. Okay, suppose you have pain. Most people tend to use morphine to reduce pain. But sometimes you see, if you practice meditation, so meditation can produce the release of endorphin. This peptide may be released in response to prolonged exercise, such as run high. Okay, when you have a group and then you run together, okay, for a long distance, experienced by long distance runner. So at one point there will be a secretion of endorphin, a release of endorphin. Brain peptide endorphin are related to the brain because of physical pain. So it significantly reduces physical pain. I just mentioned during mindfulness meditation or vipassana meditation, when the pain arises, the meditator is advised to focus his mind at the path of arising pain and make a mental note: painful, 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 continuously and uninterruptedly, to the point that piti arise, and then so when the piti arise, and there will be a release of endorphin, and then the pill will significantly disappear. Strong rapture give rise to the release of endorphin. Okay, yeah, rapture, strong rapture from meditation may give rise to the release of endorphin. Then the reduction or even disappearance of physical pain will follow. Endorphins are usually associated with feeling of euphoria or great happiness. So when there is a release of endorphin, we tend to feel euphoria, have a feeling of euphoria or great happiness. Now we come to addiction satiety. Addiction satiety. In people addicted to drugs, brain activity is abnormal in the prefrontal region, which is associated with self-control, impairing their ability to resist craving, particularly drug craving. Imaging studies have found reduced activity in the dorsolateral cingulate cortex and also dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which are involved in top-down cognitive control over behavior. So for the patient with addiction, okay, and the imaging study have found reduced activity in the dorsal cingulate cortex, dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, and also in the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, yeah, which are involved in top-down. And as I have mentioned again and again, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, sometimes we use the term executive function of the brain. So because of addiction, the patient have no control, no top-down control, no top-down cognitive control over the desires of taking drugs. In the medial orbital frontal cortex and subgenal anterior cingulate cortex, which held the subconscious regulation of emotion, will be disturbed as well. By boosting activity in this region, particularly mindfulness meditation or mindfulness training, may help addicts reduce their dependence on the drug. So sometimes they have dependent on the cigarette smoker, dependent on nicotine. Okay, so if they are willing to stop their desire for smoking, they can come to the course for meditation practice. They have an intensive course for meditation practice in order to help the patient stop cigarette smoking or other kinds of drug addiction. Okay, now we come to reward system. Reward system in the brain start in the ventral tegmental area, VTA, ventral tegmental area, where one kind of neurotransmitter. This kind of neurotransmitter is produced. So this neurotransmitter, dopamine, is produced in this area, the VTA, ventral tegmental area. Dopamine release is triggered by nucleus accumbens. Nucleus accumbens, which is the cluster of nerve cells beneath the cerebral cortex that neuroscientists have doubled the name because pressure center, the pressure center. So dopamine release is triggered in the nucleus accumbens, which is a cluster of nerve cells beneath the cerebral cortex. And neuropsychiatrists have doubled the pressure center. The pressure center. Addiction is what happens when a drug such as heroin or cocaine or hex in this system and then flood the mind with a sense of well-being. Sensation of being caught up in difficult emotional experience. So sensation of being caught up in a difficult emotional experience and physical sensation of addiction are associated with the brain dopamine reward system center on the nucleus accumbens. Yeah, you can see this figure. You see this one is smoking some kinds of drug, maybe smoking opium or marijuana. Okay, yeah. And then you can see the ventral tegmental area. There is the release of dopamine. And dopamine is related to what we call pleasure center. So dopamine cause a feeling of happiness, a feeling of pleasure, a feeling of relaxation. You see, sometimes there is a running game. A running game, the one who win the game, we get the reward. And then they feel very happy, very euphoric because of the release of dopamine neurotransmitter from neutral tegmental area. Okay, sometimes they win the gambling, they win the lottery, something like that. Okay, they get a lot of money, so they feel happy, they feel euphoric because of the release of dopamine from ventral tegmental area. Okay, yeah. Now I think I would like to stop at this point. So I would like to ask you about the experience of meditation. See, because as I mentioned this morning, the Buddha talked a lot about meditation, and also he put much emphasis on the practice of meditation, particularly mindfulness meditation or vipassana meditation. So I wonder, during this course, you have a chance to practice insight meditation or vipassana meditation.
I can try to share.
Do you have some time to practice
Yeah,
insight meditation or mindfulness meditation?
I practice meditation maybe 4 to 6 hours a day. But and I just recently tried to practice the Vipassana
Yeah,
meditation
vipassana or yeah, vipassana meditation is similar to mindfulness meditation. Yeah.
But I try to I have the time when I sit down and I do the meditation. I need to do more of the walking meditation. But I try to also practice the Vipassana. For example, if I go into a store, I try to practice clear awareness of anything around me.
You see, when we do vipassana meditation, usually we start with sitting posture. Why in the sitting posture? Okay, so there are two main objects of meditation. The main object of meditation is nama and rupa, as you know. Okay, yeah, and then suppose you focus on anapanapapa. It means that you focus the mind on the breathing in and the breathing out. And sometimes you say you focus the mind on Thatu Manasikara Papa. So we focus on the four elements, but the easiest one is a Vayotatu, wind element. The wind element, we observe the rising and falling of the abdomen. And you may know the one who emphasized Thatu Manasikara Papa is Phra Ajahn Mahasi Sayadaw in Burma. Do you know Mahasi Sayadaw in Burma?
Yeah.
He emphasized the technique of observing the arising and the falling of the abdomen, making a note rising, falling,
from my experience,
rising and falling.
From
and
my experience with
over
the
here,
Anapana,
over here when you start to practice Vipassana meditation, during sitting position, whether you focus the mind on the breathing in, the breathing out, or on the rising and falling of the abdomen?
No. For me, what I do is I follow the Anapanasati, so I start with that, but then I use as a roadmap the Kaya, Vedana, Chitta, and Dhamma Nupassana, and I go through, and as I'm meditating, I will shift the object and use as a general roadmap the different awareness, the different level of awareness. But what I struggle with is the Vedana portion. I'm still trying to figure out that portion because there's some very deep traumatic blocks that I have from my childhood. But what I learn is rather than trying to fix every single block in the Vedana, I think just only to solve what arises and then just practice the meditation. That's what I'm trying now. Because before I was trying to dive in to the alpha theta state and then to uncover and to unveil some of the underlying trauma. But now I try to only meditate on what comes aware at the time. So this one is helping me to get more deeper into the meditative state.
Okay, I think in my experience, if you use Anapanapapa, observing the breathing in and the breathing out, I think that's okay. But Anapanapapa is more difficult. Okay, when you practice Anapanapapa, the breathing will become softer, become more and more subtler. And then
my object
very
is
big,
not
sometimes
really the breath.
it's very hard to follow the
My
breathing
object
in
is not
and
really
the
the
breathing
breath.
out.
Usually my object is not the breath. Usually my object is the kaya, the vedana, the chitta, and the dhamma, kind of following along the lines of the anapanasati as a starting point. But then I change my object to focus on the individual area, no matter whatever arises at the time. I don't do any particular order. But with the Vedana, I was trying to dive very deep, and I found that is difficult, and it takes a lot of time if I try to do that. So now with the Vedana, I try to only to be awareness as things arise, not to try to uncover them.
Yeah, okay. I think if you practice the rising and falling of the abdomen, so as I have already mentioned, there are two objects. Okay, the abdomen has the shape and the form. So the abdomen belongs to what we call conventional concept, not conventional reality. So you have to go deeper than that. You have to be able to observe the movement. The movement itself belongs to conventional reality. So you have to be observe the movement of the rising and the falling of the abdomen.
Of course.
In the kaya, and then you will vipassana jhana will go further and further. Okay.
Agree.
And how about walking meditation? Do you have a time
so this
to
one I need to practice more
meditation?
For me, I need to practice the walking meditation more. For me, I put maybe 4 to 6 hours per day in the sitting, but I think I should do more walking meditation.
Okay. Suppose you start walking meditation. There are different steps. In fact, there are 6 steps in walking meditation. The first step is very easy to do. Okay, you start with standing position. Okay, standing position, and then you have a mental note: standing, standing, standing. And then you have the intention to walk, and then you have to make intending to walk, intending to walk, intending to walk about 3 times. And then you start walking.
We walk, John, we walked through all of this in the previous class, in the previous classes. And for me too, from my experience, I also practiced before. I need to practice more about the walking meditation personally.
Okay. And then you start walking. Lie, go, touch. Left, go, touch. Lie, go, touch. Left, go, touch. And then when you come to the point that you have to stop, and then you stop, you put the 2 feet together, and then making a mental note. So you have to turn around. Okay, you have to make a mental note: intending to turn, intending to turn, intending to turn about 3 tries. And then you turn the right foot, right foot about 60 degrees, followed by
60?
the left
I
foot.
thought it was 45 degrees.
Okay, and then you make the right foot another 60 degrees, and then the left foot another 60 degrees. And then you move
60 degrees.
the right foot another 60 degrees. You come to the opposite direction, and then followed by that left foot another 60 degrees. And then you come to the opposite direction. And then before you walk, you have to make a mental note: intending to walk, intending to walk, intending to walk. And then you start walking. Lie, go, touch. Left, go, touch. Lie, go, touch. Left, go, touch, like this, until you come to the point where you have to stop your walking meditation. And then you stop, and then making a mental note: intending to turn, intending to turn, intending to turn. And then you move the right leg, the right leg's about 60 degrees, followed by the left leg another 60 degrees. And then you move the left leg another 60 degrees, followed by the left leg 60 degrees.
Yeah, we've walked all this, John. We've gone through all this.
You come to the opposite direction, and then you start walking again. So it tends to be like this, and then So when the
John, I do have a question. Yes. Can you explain what the point of the mental note? What happened in the brain that makes it necessary to make the mental note 3 times? Can you explain a little bit further?
What you mean? What happened in the brain during walking meditation?
Yes. What with the mental notes? What it's why it is recommended to make the mental notes 3 times? Because we know the practice and we do that. But
please repeat your question again. I'm not so clear about your question and your concern.
Okay.
Slowly.
Okay. I would like to know why it is important to make the mental note, what is important in the structure of the brain, how it helps.
Suppose you make a mental note, so
Yes.
you will start to have a strong mindfulness. Okay, I suppose you say, oh, okay, like quotas, left quotas, right quota, left quota. I think your concentration, your mindfulness, your concentration will not so strong enough. That's why you see before walking, you have to start with standing position by making a mental note, standing, standing, standing. So during this time, you just be aware of yourself that you are standing, you are in a standing position. And you are in the standing position because of the support by the wind element. Without wind element, you cannot sit, you cannot stand, you cannot walk. Okay, so that's why we have to stop, make a mental note, so that the mindfulness and concentration will become very strong. And then, so when you start to move, there will be four major elements. Particularly when you do like this, you start when you're like in the third state, of walking meditation. So lifting, moving, treading, lifting, moving, treading, lifting, moving, treading. So when you lift the light leg, you feel light, somewhat lightness. You have to be aware of that. And then when you push forward, okay, lifting, pushing, treading, okay, or lifting, moving, treading, like that. So that would be the element of lightness is an element of what? Five element, the five element. And then the movement from one point to another point, that belong to the wind element. And then when you, okay, treading, the foot tend to fall down. You feel somewhat heaviness belong to what we call the water element. And then when the soul come into the contact with the floor may be soft, may be hard. Soft and hard belong to the earth element. So you can see the four elements while you are doing walking meditation, particularly in the third step. Okay, lifting, moving, treading, lifting, moving, treading. Yeah.
Ajahn, how does the lightness refer to the fire and the heaviness refer to the water? I'm not understanding this.
You mean water?
Right. You had mentioned that the heaviness in the treading and the stepping. You had mentioned that this one is like the water, and then you had mentioned the lightness in the lifting is like the fire.
Yeah. Okay. This is a very good question. So when we talk about the water element, so when we talk about water element, it does not mean the water that we drink, the water that we take a bath, the water that we wash ourselves. That is the water too, but that is not the conventional reality, not the conventional reality. So when we talk about the concept of water in conventional reality, we mean one is a fluidity and other one is cohesiveness. So the water that we drink, the water that we use to take a bath, that's belong to conventional concept, not conventional reality. But conventional reality, you cannot see with your ordinary eye. You have to use your wisdom or your third eye.
Oh, I think like the fire is like the energy to create the movement. The
Yeah.
wind is the momentum. The water is like the connection with the earth, and then
The
the
water is
earth is
a
the
feeling of heaviness.
so it's abstract.
The water flow from high pressure to the lower pressure, from high pressure to the lower pressure. That's why it cause or produce a feeling of heaviness.
I never think about this. Thank you, Ajahn.
On the contrary, you see, when you see lifting, you feel somewhat lightness. Lightness is belong to the fire element. Like when you boil water, when the water when it turn to be you have a smoke going up, so it is related to lightness. Okay, and then moving or pushing is related to the wind element, and then okay, throttling or moving down, you feel more heaviness. Heaviness belong to water element, and when the soul or the foot put on the floor, you experience softness and hardness. Softness and hardness belong to the earth element. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it tends to be like this. Yeah.
ขอบคุณครับอาจารย์
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And another thing is about suppose when you are observing the breathing in and the breathing out, and suppose your mind wander, going to this place, to another place, the mind may thinks about the home, about your friends, about your work, about financial situation, so on and so forth. How do you deal with those distraction or the wandering mind?
I don't have that. That doesn't happen in meditation for me.
Yeah.
But if a thought does arise, just acknowledge it, and then it goes away. Acknowledge maybe 3 times. Same the pain.
Thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah, thinking or wandering, or thinking until the thinking stop or the wandering might stop, and then you have to come back to the main object, maybe the breathing in and the breathing out, or you may come back to the main object, the rising and falling of the abdomen. Yeah, that's the right way to do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In the same manner, you see, when you do walking meditation, suppose the mind tend to go outside, thinking about this, about that, or the mind tend to wander around. Okay, so you have to stop your walking and then making a mental note, thinking, or wandering until the thinking and the wandering mind stop, and then you start your walking meditation. Yeah. So it tends to be like that. Yeah. Okay.
Can you explain briefly, from your perspective, the vipassana aspect?
About what?
Can you explain briefly the vipassana? Because we talk about the walking meditation, we talk about the samadhi, the anapanapaba, but we didn't really talk much about the vipassana, I don't think. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Usually, in the practice of meditation, as you just mentioned, there are two kinds of meditation: samatha meditation or concentration meditation. So when you practice the samatha meditation, you tend to use a conventional concept, something like the word, or something you may use a mantra, or sometimes you use the word putto, okay, putto, Dhammo, Sangho, putto, Dhammo, Sangho, or sometimes use other kinds of mantra. Like in Tibet, yeah, they have a mantra, Omani Patame Hum, Omani Patame Hum, Omani Patame Hum is a kind of mantra. So these kinds of mantra can lead the mind to concentration, okay, but does not to the nature of Nama and Rupa. The nature of Nama and Rupa, the first one, you have to be able to see that the mind is changeable. It's not static. The mind is changeable all the time. So the mind is impermanent. Okay. And also, when the mind is impermanent, you can later on see that the mind is suffering. The mind is unsatisfactory. And later on, you can see that you cannot control the mind. The mind has no self, no ego, no self, no ego. Sometimes we call egolessness or selflessness, or in Bali we call anatta. So if you practice only samatha meditation, you cannot understand the three universal characteristics of nama and rupa, anicca, dukkha, anatta. On the contrary, if you practice insight meditation, particularly vipassana meditation, when you come to one point, you can understand the concept of universal characteristic, namely anicca, the impermanent, dukkha, the suffering, and anatta, the non-self or egolessness. That's the main difference between samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. But in order to be able to develop or to reach to the end of suffering, so you have to practice vipassana meditation. Only vipassana meditation can lead you to the end of suffering. That is the nivarana. Yeah. Okay.
Can you provide an example of the Vipassana insight meditation? An example.
Yeah. Okay. So now I would like to mention a little bit about the beneficial effect of mindfulness meditation on brain.
Ajahn,
Okay.
do you have an example of the Vipassana insight meditation? An example of how that would look?
You mean a vipassana meditation?
Yeah, an example in practice of how that would look. Just a simple example.
In fact, I have the course for vipassana meditation last week in Chiang Mai. Yeah, usually I have a meditation retreat for 7 days. Yeah, but unfortunately, I was sick around that time. I just recovered from my sickness. You see, yeah. So we have to cancel the course on the Vipassana meditation last week. Yeah. And so if you are interested about this, we can talk together after this course, and then we can get together. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, ขอบคุณมาก
Okay. Now I would like to mention a little bit about beneficial effect of mindfulness meditation on the brain. So during meditation and increase cortical thickness, particularly the gray matter in the insula, hippocampus, and the prefrontal cortex. You remember, insula is somatosensory sensation, and also it related to a feeling of empathy. Okay, and hippocampus is related to memory. It's a kind of a reservoir, retrieval of memory, different kinds of memory, past memory, recent memory are collected in the hippocampus. And the prefrontal cortex, there's this cerebral cortical area, particularly anterior cingulate cortex, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, as I have already mentioned. Increased functioning in those areas, such as interoception, internal state of the body, learning and memory, attention, executive function, and empathy will be significantly increased here, because meditation stimulates the insula, it stimulates the hippocampus, it also stimulates prefrontal cortex, okay? And these areas are related with internal state of the body, learning and memory, attention, and also executive function, as well as empathy. Long-term mindfulness, particularly long-term mindfulness vipassana meditation, reveal largest reduction in activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, and also in the amygdala, hippocampus, where different kinds of memory are stored. Okay, yeah. Dr. Benson introduced the term relaxation response, which indicated a significant decrease in metabolic rate, similar to the physiological effect, which was the opposite of those caused by fight or flight responses. So Dr. Mason used the term relaxation response, decreased heart rate, decreased respiratory rate, decreased metabolic rate, and also decreased something like some kinds of stimulant that stimulate anxiety, cortisol, particularly it reduced the level of cortisol or reduce cortisol secretion. Benson also believed that the relaxation response produce oxidative states at the cellular level and tame the inflammation associated with many illnesses known to be exacerbated by chronic stress, something like fibromyalgia, okay, And this disease includes hypertension, diabetes mellitus, coronary heart disease, stroke, all kinds of pain, okay, and also headache, premenstrual tension, and inflammatory bowel disease. Now we come to the mental disease. Psychiatric or mental disease may get beneficial effect from mindfulness meditation, such as anxiety disorder, panic disorder, phobic disorder, depression disorder, personality disorder, drug addiction, and psychosomatic disorder. So there are different kinds of anxiety disorder, particularly panic disorder. They tend to have palpitation, difficulty in breathing, and they have fear, the fear that they are going to collapse, they are going to die, okay? They tend to come to the hospital immediately. And then the doctor did do the physical checkup completely, including the electroencephalogram, and the doctor cannot find anything wrong with them. And some patients develop something like we call specific phobia, knife phobia, pistol phobia, or even sometimes we call fear of using the plane, agoraphobia. They grow to be in the plane, okay? So they develop these kinds of phobia. So they have to use some kinds of medication to calm them down. And then sometimes they have to use technique that we call desensitization technique, okay? So that when they get better, so they can take the plane to go from one place to another place. And also during meditation, there is the evidence of increased alpha wave and gamma wave of the electroencephalogram, leading to calmness and relaxation of both the mind and the body.
John,
And then,
you mentioned the increase in the gamma wave. This one is affect, for example, the logic and reasoning. How does the meditation have the impact on the gamma activity? I'm curious about this. What is the correlation?
you mean the medication for anxiety?
The mindfulness. You mentioned the gamma activity increase in particular. So I wanted to ask how the mindfulness can affect the gamma activity in the brain.
Oh, you mean it in you see something like anti-anxiety drug, something like alprazolam, like that.
John.
So it increase gamma aminobutyric acid, and
right.
This neurotransmitter inhibit anxiety effectively. Yeah, we can talk about tomorrow. Yeah.
Right,
Gamma aminobutyric acid. Yeah.
But
it inhibits the anxiety effectively. Yeah.
Right, but this bullet point, for me, from my experience, that when I practice the mindfulness, I have the increased alpha and theta activity, but I personally do not experience the increase in gamma. So I wanted to ask, what sort of practice with the mindfulness can affect the gamma activity in the brain?
I think you are supposed to have a lot of experience in mindfulness meditation in order to produce gamma wave of the electroencephalogram. Usually for the beginner, or when you start to practice meditation, particularly mindfulness meditation, you tend to have an increased alpha wave. This will become very prominent.
Yeah, for
But
me, alpha and sometimes theta, but mostly alpha.
But for the experienced mindfulness meditator, they are able to develop gamma wave of the
So over time,
electroencephalogram.
over time, the more you practice, over time, you will be able to develop the gamma wave from the mindfulness. Okay.
Okay. And another preliminary research suggests that going on an intensive meditation retreat could slow the stress-related shortening of telomere by boosting telomerase activity in the immune cell. You know, telomerase is at the end of a chromosome. So every chromosome have telomere, and telomere is very short. Suppose we practice meditation, particular intensive meditation. Meditation can boost the telomerase activity. Through this way, the telomeres will be longer. Okay, yeah. So when telomerase become longer, we tend to have a longer life. We tend to have a longer life. Yeah. The more telomerase, the better health and longevity of life. If we have a long life, the longer telomerase, the longer the lifespan of that person. Okay, yeah. I think that's all for today. So I would like to stop my lecture this afternoon at this point. Tomorrow I have some urgent business to do. So I would like to start about, let me see, about 10 a.m. Is that okay? Tomorrow we start about 10 a.m. in the morning. Okay, yeah.
Okay, อาจารย์
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
John,
any more question?
I have one more question.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So in the past, I would practice the use the electro accelerate, the EEG. I don't know how to say the word. The EEG device I would use for the neural feedback. In order to put myself in particular state, for example, gamma, if I'm thinking with a lot of calculations, a lot of logic work, the experienced meditator, do they have the ability to choose what state they put their mind into? For example, the gamma, if they want to focus on the mathematical, logical, the reasoning sort of thing, or the theta, if they want to go into deep hypnosis, self-hypnosis state, or something like this, or the alpha, if they want to focus on the maybe between the alpha and the theta, if they want to have the productivity. Can they put themselves in the different state through the strong mindfulness in the same way of like as in biofeedback?
Okay, so see everybody again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Okay, 10 a.m. Okay, yeah. Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, goodbye everybody. Okay.
Thank you so much ขอบคุณค่ะอาจารย์
เอาขอเลื่อนเป็นสัก10 โมงเช้าก็แล้วกันนะ
พรุ่งนี้เหรอคะ
พรุ่งนี้วันพฤหัสนะโอเค
วันพรุ่งนี้เริ่มกี่โมงนะคะ
10 โมงเช้านะวัน10 โมงเช้าก็แล้วกันนะ
See you tomorrow 10 a.m. Thank you very much อาจารย์
โอเคครับโอเค